I'm Philip Brown, Chief Physician at New Hanover Regional Medical Center in Wilmington, North Carolina. The COVID-19 pandemic sweeping across our country is leaving in its wake a horrifying trail that records our national history of racial injustice in a way that many have chosen to deny. Yet when we can vividly see the profoundly disparate health effects on African American communities across the nation, all deniability is forever lost. This pandemic is providing a clear view into a national history of freedom and equality, which has been anything but. And we must take this as a clear sign for massive action to dismantle our unjust systems and recreate them through a lens of equity. Regrettably, my beloved North Carolina is no exception to the rule of racial inequity. We as North Carolinians have created policies and lived under systems of control that have propagated racial inequity that produces third world level of minority health in some areas. This is a failed formula, and we must immediately commit to the changes required to move our great state to a national health ranking in the top 10 for all populations during this decade, and to achieve nation's best health ranking within a generation. To get there, we must be bold, and I believe we will. Systems having failed us, it is now time to dismantle the system of policies that drive racial disparities in health. No longer will we tolerate the most inhumane form of inequity, which is injustice in health. We must rigorously interrogate the results of behaviors, programs, and policies which feed racial disparities and then eliminate each and every driver of inequity with surgical precision. I believe that we possess all the resources and talents necessary, but the fact is that we have never made the decisions nor marshaled the resources required for such leadership. We've never specified long-range health goals on an urgent timeline, nor managed our resources and our time so as to ensure their fulfillment. Standing directly in our path are those who would have us stay where we are, remaining fixed solidly in place for a bit more to try and ride out the past a little longer. There's powerful economic self-interest in maintaining the status quo, for in fact, it is economic self-interest that created the current systems in the first place. But transformation has never been accomplished by those who waited, wishfully looking behind as the breathtaking pace of change accelerated beyond them. Such an approach is doomed to fail, and progress will go ahead whether we go or not. Every great accomplishment is associated with overcoming great difficulty, and this will be no exception. To be sure, we are behind, and we will be for some time, in achieving the environment required for outstanding health among all people. But we do not intend to stay behind. In this decade, we will catch up, and within a generation, we will become the healthiest state in the nation. To make the ascent, the first step of the climb is to overwhelm the inertia of those who long for the status quo. Their economic self-interest is in conflict with justice, and the time for change has arrived. So why us, some might ask? To that I say, why not us? We will lead because we choose to lead this equitable and relentless ascent to the pinnacle of health, because it is right and because the mutual benefit to us all will be so immense. These are hard things to accomplish, yet these challenges are the ones that we are willing to accept and overcome. To do less is to accept a terrifying future with shortened lifespans and reduced quality of life. For our children to have to accept a bleak future compared to our present represents an unacceptable loss of potential, and we shall not allow it to occur that way. We will engage and we will defeat every threat to inequitable health that we encounter along the way. As our next generation of children is born into this world, their future will be lived in the healthiest and most equitable state in America. We will have launched initiatives that lead our entire country toward equitable health, such that we are no longer faced with the horror of glaring racial health disparities, and especially not during the time of global health threat. Make no mistake, all this costs a good deal of money, a staggering sum, although remarkably less than we currently spend on each North Carolina smoker. During the life of each North Carolinian who smokes, we currently lose $1.4 million, which is also associated with average decreases in life expectancy of 10 years. We're going to pay what must be paid. We don't need to waste money, but we must do the job, and it must be done in the decade of the 20s. Through our successful implementation, by the end of a generation, we will be the healthiest state in the nation. By shifting our focus to equitable health, we will succeed in transforming North Carolina into destination health, the state with the most resilient and robust workforce in the nation, and the place where the economy thrives because of the health of all its people. North Carolina will lead the way, and Wilmington can show the path. Now, more than ever, we will live to the creed of "in this together."